hotel motel tax expenditure, carry home show and shine. We have briefing.
So once again, this is monies that were come before Myla Montgomery made a request from the president of the Carry Home regarding the use of funds for advertising, and they're specifically using it for the items that were listed. Advertising outside of the area, it definitely goes 50 miles beyond, and plus with banners that are included, and I believe the Sani-cans as well that are included underneath that statute. And so I don't know if we want to go ahead and make these changes prior to, make it reflect the same thing as it did on the other one as far as amending the verbiage to read exactly the same in section 2 and 51.
Are there questions?
I move to approve resolution number 2013-051 with the add-ons that we put on the previous motion. Reimburse and for activities authorized by the statute.
Councilmember Holden has moved and Councilmember Walker has seconded. Does council approve resolution 2013-051 with the following modification? In section 2, strike the word use and insert reimbursed. In section 2, after park, insert for activities as authorized by statute. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Councilmember Holden, you can speak to your motion.
I think that pretty well covers it. Carry Home is a worthwhile endeavor, nonprofit organization, and serves some of our residents at TBI.
Councilmember Walker to speak to your second, and then
I was just going to say that this is a great community event for small citizens.
Councilmember Sykes.
And you will also find that many of these people stay at the Hope Motel over here when they bring their cars in for the show, because we pull cars in from all over, and a lot of them stay overnight, and they have their own little security group that they take care of their own security and everything, so they're not imposing any expense on our police department.
Thank you. Further remarks?
Not about adding to our coffers.
Councilmember Putnam.
This does draw in people from well beyond the area that would normally be coming to the park on that day, and that does include hopefully a nice sunny day with good sales of refreshments and food, so anything that adds to local tax base is a good thing.
Further remarks from council? Comments from the audience? Question before the council is a motion by Councilmember Holden, second by Councilmember Walker. The council approve resolution 2013-051 with the following modification. In section 2, strike the word use and insert reimburse. In section 2, after the word park, insert for activities as authorized by statute. Councilmember Geiger.
I have a question for the city attorney. Ken?
Yes.
I sit on their board of directors.
I would suggest we abstain from voting.
Recuse ourselves.
Recuse myself.
Good.
Recuse, abstain is a no.
Council rules state that abstain, an abstention is an affirmative vote, as I recall.
Anyway, I recuse myself from voting due to the fact that I sit on their board of directors.
Shoemaker, get out.
It's in the parking lot, 5 blocks away.
Further remarks from council? There was a motion, or do I have to repeat it again?
I'm good.
Okay. Roll call, council, please.
Trent Walker.
Aye.
John Jones.
Aye.
Josh Putnam.
Aye.
James McMahon.
Aye.
Leanne Dyer is
Recusing.
Gary Holtby.
Aye.
Clint Steiger.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up on the agenda is item number I, fireworks ordinance. Councilmember Steiger.
According to our fireworks ordinance, the only time that fireworks can be set off is on the 4th of July. I think we ought to entertain adding another day to that, on the day being when our election is ratified, the Pacific Independence Day. Allow fireworks.
Councilmember Jones.
I don't think this is, anything the council should be entertaining.
Yeah, you're no fun, Joe.
Further remarks from council? Is there a motion to be made? Hearing that, we will move on. Item J, City Hall Security, Councilmember Stikes.
This is a serious matter. Due to what we're going to be exposed with, I feel, and everything, is that effective tomorrow for 24-hour surveillance, we need to have on City Hall through the ratification of the election.
Further remarks from the council? Councilmember Jones.
Concern I have is, to what extent would we be able to do anything anyway, legally, other than, monitor? And if he goes within closed doors, what does that person have any authorization anyway? I mean, there's no legal ramifications, and it would be a police matter and not a security issue, so I understand the concern, but I don't know what we can do.
Councilmember Butler.
I believe, unfortunately, this is not something that council could actually act on anyway. I don't believe the direction of the police is by the mayor, and the mayor, assuming the recall election is successful, the mayor remains the mayor until certification is complete and remains the chief executive of the city. That's not to say you couldn't have volunteers watching city hall. You could certainly have the public come in, but I don't believe we have the ability to direct during business hours, not 24 hours a day, but I don't believe we have the power to direct the police to provide security to City Hall.
Councilmember Holt.
First volunteer.
Sir. Councilmember Holt.
I appreciate and understand the concern, however, in view of the fact that we are already short-staffed in our police department, and asking volunteers might be encouraging vigilante action, then we're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Councilmember Walker.
It's also my understanding, council sets the policy, and it's up to the administration to carry it out. So even if council passed an ordinance or resolution saying that no one's allowed in City Hall between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m., it's not up to us to implement it. We can only pass it, so we're limited.
Councilmember Dyer, do you have anything before I go to Councilmember Stikes? Councilmember Stikes.
Okay, well, all right, now we end up power play a little bit. Nobody wants to step up to the plate, which is normal. But I think we need to step up to the plate because I think we need some advice from our attorney. If somebody is here, we can testify that documents were not picked up and taken out of City Hall and destroyed. We've already had some evidence of documents being attempted to be destroyed or have been destroyed, and we're leaving ourselves vulnerable, and all of a sudden then, when something happens, then we sit back and, why didn't we do something about it? I mean, I don't understand this thinking. You know, it says, well, what do we have the right to do? Hey, nobody has stepped in and helped us for anything that has been done wrong, against the law, can't be done that way. Nobody stepped in and helped us, so who says anybody's going to step in and say that we can't police our record as a council? We can't. And you guys can sit and pussyfoot away if you want to, but I'm just saying, when something happens, I'm not going to be a person saying, you're going to be the ones that have to answer. Say, Well, why didn't we have some security on that?
Further remarks?
Just to ask the attorney, legally, what, even if we'd have to pass an ordinance, change the laws to have security, I'm assuming, we couldn't do this under a resolution. Can we do this? We have to get an ordinance change, because now we're creating a limitation law of what activities can happen within the city hall during a time frame, so that there could be police action associated with that activity. You know, I mean, we can put, I mean, that's what my belief would be, and then we'd have to have 2 readings for an ordinance change. Is that correct, I think? So, my concern is the time frame that we're looking at on everything else. It's not a matter of not wanting to do anything, it's just a matter of what is the legal capability for us. I know that your other statements related to all the other events, and we haven't had support from anybody, the state or anybody else, in this issue. Do we commit an illegal act to try to stop an illegal act? My concern is that we need to be on the other side of that fence. And if we're gonna do this, we need to be legally bound.
Councilmember Holden?
I think security is the wrong word. I'm willing to show up with a camera. However, we have liability issues if we take action. That becomes a vigilante issue. But I can take pictures, and that way we have photographic documentation of any wrongdoings that might happen.
Further remarks?
I understand this is a very sensitive time for both the mayor and for the council and for the citizens. The rule of law is that the mayor is the chief administrative officer of the city, is in charge of the personnel. There's an assumption that something may go wrong based on prior conduct. I hope that will not be the case, but the reality of it is the council's hands are tied until the vote is ratified. We have city employees here that are here 24 hours a day, or not 24, during the workday, and hopefully if something was untoward, they would notify the appropriate individuals. But if not, the mayor is the chief administrative officer of the city, and we are unable to curtail his activities.
Further remarks? Is there a motion to be made? We'll move on. Next item under new business, item K, Community Services Director. And Shirley, remind me, we're gonna get to you to put your comment off. Councilmember Stice.
Okay. And looking at what's been done around the city here lately and everything else, we have an individual that's working for us. The title is Community Service Director. That position is not being done. Everything, that person is doing everything else around but the job that she's been hired to do and that she is to do, oversee the daily operations of the senior center. Now, there's a stipulation in there that somehow it reads, additional work at the pleasure of the mayor, but that does not override the duties of the position. I mean, you don't just let your duty to that position go and do everything else but that, including trying to be an attorney. And I think that we need to consider eliminating that position.
Before we go into further council remarks, I want to invite Shirley to come back up and put off her comment for this part.
Well, speaking for the seniors, they seem to come to me when they have worries, concerns, or whatever. My concern is this: why are we paying for a director that does not direct, that there may be 10 minutes once in a while? I'm not there every day, but people say, I said, was she there? No. Maybe 5 minutes or whatever. Anyway, we're wasting our money. I don't know how much she's making, but I know she makes more than $12 an hour. Anyway, she has worried some of our seniors. They don't feel comfortable. We have lost seniors since she took over. I'm sorry to say this, it's not personal. They don't trust her. She doesn't follow through. There's different projects, okay, I'll do this. I have examples of my own that I brought to her. And I said, okay, where is this at so I can finish it? Well, she took it home to her daughter to finish it. That's a senior project. Her daughter has nothing to do with that. That happened twice. And twice, we were late getting the project out because her daughter was gonna do it. And the last project was she brought it back unfinished. So we hurried up and finished it like it was supposed to be done. To my knowledge, she's supposed to be writing grants to the senior center. To my knowledge, no more money has been brought in for the senior center. We still have our balance. It was last I knew of $6,000. Ours again is with under the Civic Partner umbrella, and the reason it's there, so it cannot be spent for something other than for the seniors. There are some things that we do need in the senior center that have been mentioned. Okay, I'll do it. So that's last year. It hasn't been done yet. Darcy is a great assistant. She has worked her tail off. She has done everything. I mean everything. And if you want my personal opinion, because I have been with this senior center for 5 years as a volunteer, and I'm not qualified for any job, so don't ask me to do anything. We don't need a senior director. We are a small operation. We are trying to get our numbers back up, but it's really happening slow. Darcy is doing such a great job, and she's been doing it basically by herself. My opinion is, you hire Darcy as a manager. My second opinion is, you get somebody that can drive as well as help coordinate activities and crafts. That's what we need there. We don't need a director. If we need grants written, there are grant writers all over the place. You can bring one in temporarily. You can make phone calls. We used to have a senior director who was a marvelous grant writer. She had people coming into that. We used to have 30-some people come in there for lunch. You know, we're lucky now if we have 15. They leave right after lunch. Nobody wants to stay for the activities. Well, I don't feel comfortable. I don't trust the mayor. This is what is being said to me. I'm not telling you lies or anything like that. Well, I don't trust Cheryl. She don't follow through. Touch a Home asked her 2.5 months ago, please, get us the logo for Touch a Home. We want to make cards to put on all the 100-and-some quilts that they made, okay, for the VA fair that they had. It didn't happen. Darcy finally got it down for them, and they got those made 4 days before the fair. And okay, I'm talked long enough. But that is my opinion, take it or leave it. But why waste $5,000 a month on something that we're not getting use of? Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bud.
I'd like to ask the city attorney on this for some guidance for what topics of conversation are suitable for council as the policymaking and budgetary authority, and what things, whether we like them or not, are within the mayor's authority in his direction to staff.
The ordinance, as I understand it, or job description of the senior services or community services director, indicates that they shall do such duties as or additional duties as prescribed by the mayor. If the mayor's chief administrative officer of the city has said that she will do certain things, then she's allowed and authorized to do it. Until that's changed, employees are under the control of the mayor.
So then, getting back to Mr. Steiger's original question, council would have the ability to discuss eliminating a position out of the budget, but not fine tuning how that position is performed as long as it's still in the budget, correct?
That would be my opinion, yes.
Councilmember Jones, then Councilmember Holden.
I was just gonna bring up that issue, is that, performance portions of the concerns is management's responsibility, but as a council, we have control of the budget. If we feel as a council that the position of community service director is not required, based upon what I'm hearing is the last several months of inactivity, or limited activity by the existing director, then we can look at removing that as a line item in the budget.
I believe that to be true, yes.
Councilmember Holden.
The council has the authority to, control the budget. We also have staffing authority, and that's part of the budget. We also have the authority to rewrite the job description. But I think that it would be prudent to wait until, after the election before we, proceed this further.
Before I go, to Councilmember Jones again, Councilmember Walker.
I think a lot of the duties that she's doing are duties that are normally done by positions that are vacant. So, I think our focus is in the wrong area. We need to focus on getting positions filled, rather than trying to retool and fix other problems. So I think we're focusing on the wrong thing.
Before I go to anybody a second time, because you already spoke, right? Councilmember Garrett?
I'm good.
Councilmember Putnam?
On that question, somewhat related, does anybody know if we are making any efforts to recruit a city clerk at this time? Since it's been a couple of months now since the mayor brought up a candidate, and
It's
we
been
haven't.
advertised,
Okay.
and there are applications that are coming in, but at the last council meeting, it was stated by council that they weren't gonna do anything until after the election.
We never said that.
No.
We never said that.
That's not my recollection.
So that's why nothing has been brought forward, I believe, is because it's waiting for the election.
Okay, no,
We do have applications.
Okay, the council had actually requested that that be done as soon as possible, so.
Good.
That's,
Don't you have minutes that you can back up on that?
Councilmember Jones and then Councilmember Holden.
I got recording.
Okay, as far as us removing a position, for budgetary issues would take, what, again, at least 2 readings? Is that my understanding? To remove a budget line item? I don't remember, we did this before, recently, and I don't remember how long it took us.
Amend the budget?
Do you remember, we just did this about 6 months ago?
Yeah, we did the 2 readings, and I think the question was, do we need to do,
I think we need to defer that to the city council, or to the city attorney to reiterate the policy. 2 readings aren't necessary before we make pass an ordinance.
Councilmember Steiger? Oh, sorry. That wasn't rhetorical.
Well, it's my understanding the policy of the city council in Pacific has been to have 2 readings of the ordinance. Specifically, I believe it can be done with 1.
Councilmember Steiger?
Well, the only thing I can say is I think each council member should take a look at the job description and take a look at what is actually being done and make your own decision. You don't even know what the job description is. I bet you don't even know there's other duties that have to be done also besides just at the will of the mayor. There's some physical things that have to be met and everything that are part of the job description. Now, are those being met? Who knows?
Councilmember Garrett?
Councilman Steiger, I totally understand what you're saying, but it's not our duty as far as the council. We can set the policy, but we cannot remove the position based on performance. That is up to the mayor.
We can remove the budget.
Okay. Councilmember Holden?
That's, my comments are similar to that. And as long as the mayor is in office, the mayor is gonna do what the mayor wants to do, and he is the chief administrative officer of the city. If that situation changes in the immediate future, then we can take a different look at it.
Further remarks? Councilmember Joe?
I would just suggest that if Councilmember Steiger is, adamant about this, that, he make a motion to change to line item, remove the line item from the budget.
Councilmember Geyer?
I don't think before we could remove something from a budget or the line item from the budget, we would need to see a budget to justify with removing it from the budget. Saying.
Councilmember Steiger, I see you again.
Well, we don't know, number one is we don't even know what our financial position
That's what I'm
is.
saying.
We don't even know if we can afford that, what we're paying out now. I mean, who knows what our funding is? We don't know. I mean, and, we know it's a position that is not being functionally done, so it needs to be eliminated. But there's no reason for me to make a motion. I mean, I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna get backing for my motion anyway. So, I mean, give me a credit.
Further remarks from council? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next item on our agenda is, I know there were a couple of folks that had their hand up, since council is taking no action, we don't do audience comments there. Consent agenda.
Well, you know, you could make an exception.
I haven't heard it. We'll move on, consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Been moved by Councilmember Putnam and seconded by Councilmember Geyer to approve the consent agenda as presented. Remarks, Councilmember Putnam?
I'm gonna start mentioning this more